life and a job you hate? Call the Radio Connection program and take the first step towards your new career. That's 1-800-755-7597. Get into that exciting and rewarding career you have always dreamed about. And be sure to tune in to KFBC and Frank Bermuda Schwartz every weekday morning for your chance at a free scholarship into the Radio Connection program.
Welcome back to the Random Bites podcast. This is Alan Wayne here, and today we are discussing gross YouTube videos. Just discussed a little bit about Dr. Pimple Popper, Sandra Lee, played a little bit of audio from her that was rather ribald, I guess you could say. And up next, we're going to go on to another YouTube obsession, and that would be tonsil stones.
Have you ever coughed up little white nuggets that smell terrible? If you have, congratulations, because you might have tonsil stones. Tonsilloliths, or tonsil stones, typically consist of mucus, bacteria, dead cells, and other debris that collect in the deep pockets of the tonsils and gradually condense into small, typically light-colored globs. Most commonly, the stones are small, although doctors have reported individual cases of patients with stones more than an inch wide. Sounds like a pain in the neck. Bacteria grows on this accumulated matter, giving rise to the infamous odor, which some people have described as smelling like literal death, straight-up butts, and the devil's butt crack. Having tonsil stones can sometimes lead to bad breath, and it can even cause you to feel pain in your throat and your ears. So, how do you get rid of these smelly stink bombs? Well, some people try a saltwater gargle to help ease the pain, and some try to push them out using a disinfected object like a finger or a Q-tip. However, if the problem continues or the pain is severe, you should probably go see a specialist. So, do you want to see what a tonsil stone looks like in real life? Warning, warning, gross content ahead.
All right, so they're showing a little bit of...
That was pretty gross. Now that you've finally found out what these are, do you have tonsil stones?
All right, well, that is from BuzzFeed Blue, by the way. Thank you for that. Tonsil stones, yes. They're these little... Okay, most people get their tonsils removed as kids, and... Actually, lately, that trend is being reversed because doctors have found that tonsils actually do more good than harm. They protect people from various different viruses and illnesses. They're actually a filter. Think of them as little livers in the back of your throat. They actually filter germs out. So they basically take all those germs and they hold them there, and then until they're dead. I'm not sure how it works, but tonsils are kept in the throat now because they are more beneficial than bad. So more and more people are sharing their stories of tonsil stones online. And I checked this out on YouTube, and I was like, man, that is disgusting. Now, I'm not going to play any audio about tonsil stones because there is no audio. Basically, it's just, I'll describe it to you the best way I know how. Basically, people take a GoPro camera and they attach it to something on their hand so that the GoPro camera can go into their mouth and view their tonsils. And then they push and prod at their tonsils until they give birth to these little white nuggets. And it is just one of the most gross things I've ever seen online. And yet these videos get hundreds of comments from people who say, wow, I have tonsil stones too, and this is so great, thank you. There are even people who call these videos satisfying. What is satisfying about viewing someone's throat while they're pushing debris out of their throat, out of their tonsils? It is disgusting. Now, that being said, I have been afflicted with tonsil stones in my life. So I put up a YouTube video one time of me actually using one of those little picks. And I'm telling you, there is an industry for disgusting bodily functions out there, or disgusting videos. They're using these disgusting videos to make money by selling these little plastic sticks with an LED light at the end of them. So I put it back there, and now I have a gag reflex, which would make it hard in prison, I know. But the object that I was holding, this tonsil stone thing made in China, I put it in the back of my throat and I tried to push around and I cut my damn tonsil. I ended up bleeding because the thing was so damn sharp. It was out of a plastic mold. It was so damn sharp. And I ended up bleeding. It wasn't as easy as I thought. But I have had tonsil stones in the past. And let me tell you, they are sick little nuggets. I mean, it is some of the most disgusting stuff your body can produce. Because just think about it. All the food that is going into your mouth is passing by these flaps of skin that basically have these little crypts. It's not like one solid piece. It's like, I don't know, it reminds me of like fish gills or something. It's got little crypts and everything, and the food gets trapped in there. If you got a little postnasal drip, the mucus gets trapped in there, and you get tonsil stones. Now, the videos that get really big hits, are the ones put out by doctors. And doctors will actually film this kind of thing, along with several other oral procedures that are completely disgusting. They'll film going into somebody's mouth, and I've seen tonsillectomies on YouTube, numerous tonsillectomies. It's rather interesting. They do it with a laser now. They cut out the tonsils, and they just fire them up, and you could see the smoke coming out of the back of the throat. That makes me like want to clear my throat, like watching it. It looks so painful. But they go back in there, and this one dude had like a nest. He had like a dozen tonsil stones back there. It was disgusting. It was, imagine the breath. Imagine rotten food and mucus stuck in your tonsils, and imagine having this guy go, hey. Just really disgusting stuff. Really disgusting stuff. And yet there are millions and millions of views on these videos. So why do people like watching tonsil stone videos? Well, I think, personally, that people like watching these tonsil stone videos because they want to know that they're not the only freak in the world that has these gross pieces of matter coming out of their throats. I think it's all about feeling the camaraderie between people and feeling that, hey, I'm not so freakish. These people have tonsil stones. I do too. And it's a common thing. So I think people are, I guess, heartened, which is the opposite of disheartened, of course. They're heartened by the fact that these other people have these tonsil stones and that they're sharing their stories. And there's money to be made. There is a channel of Tonsil Stone Man where he has about a dozen videos and they've gotten thousands of hits. I don't know if he's monetizing them yet. I mean, Dr. Lee can retire on what she has. Dr. Pimple Popper, she can retire on what she has on her YouTube page. She's making more money on her YouTube page than most of us do on our 9-to-5 jobs. Isn't that gross? She is making more money doing that than most of us are making at our 9-to-5 jobs just by putting those videos out there. And it is just wild, ladies and gentlemen. It is just wild to think that these people are making money. And the videos are actually quite funny. People try to do them on their own and try to get it out. Hell, my video got 100 views, and I'm nobody. There are people who have like actual friends and stuff who would take these videos or have somebody else take the videos for them, and they would like scrape out these tonsil stones and put them next to a quarter or something. I saw one that was like the size of a quarter. Thing was huge. Just pried open her tonsil. It was a lady. Just pried open her tonsil, and then out pops this huge egg of stink coming right out of her throat. It's unbelievable. And people are making money on this, folks. People are making money on their gross, dead-ass tonsil stones. So why are people interested? I don't know. Why are people interested? I have no clue. If you have any idea, leave them in the chat here on Spreaker.com. By the way, this broadcast is brought to you by Spreaker.com, the main platform, the mothership, the home of random internet radio. Spreaker, be heard. You can start a podcast with no money. You can start a podcast for free. And if you're good, you can even get on iHeartRadio. No money needed. Just go to www.spreaker.com, sign up, minimal investment here, free service, you get a console to use, you get crystal clear audio quality, and you get your podcast out there. So tell your friends, tell everybody you know, tell everybody you know on Facebook, you're going to have a podcast, and it's going to be on Spreaker.com, and you might reach iHeartRadio status, or you might reach YouTube status or iTunes status, multiple different ways to share here on Spreaker.com. www.spreaker.com. Go get started. Get yourself heard, and you too can talk about tonsil stones, just like me. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a public service announcement from the one and only Poor Man.
Yes, for all the executives at Entercom, you want your next PD to make big ratings and take the station to number one, the crown jewel in your empire. Hire me as PD. And also because I'm broke.
Here's what radio legend Poor Man had to say about the Random Internet Radio Show. And you're a Los Angeles radio legend, man. Thank you, Poor Man. I do appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, you are the legend, Alan. This is the greatest moment in my career to be on the Random Internet Radio Show. I thought I had achieved great things before, but this is number one in my career. Number one!
The Random Internet Radio Show live every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Pacific on Spreaker.com. Welcome back to Random Bites. And what you just heard was the advertising for the Random Internet Radio Show, which is on live every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, only on Spreaker.com. It's a little different than the podcast. There's a lot more music played. There might be guests. It's a lot more wild and less structured. But Poor Man was on Random Bites just recently, and I just came to find out that he is starting his own podcast with another Dave Carson, and it's the two most fired guys that have ever been on radio, so it should be interesting. I'll let you guys know where to find that, and good on you, Poor Man. I was always wondering, I mean, he's tried to do podcasts before, but with other people producing, and he didn't get along with them, obviously, so good on Poor Man, and that's a good deal. All right, for the final topic on gross YouTube videos tonight, or the final segment on gross YouTube videos tonight, I talk about, I can talk about myself in the third person. You know, Alan Wayne talks about this channel called The Reaper Files, and it was this one woman. I know she's a woman because she mentioned she was a woman, but they don't know who she is. And she just put up these different videos about dead people and about death and about every single aspect of death. For about a year and a half, she put videos combining backing music, which was some of the creepiest music I've ever heard, with pictures of people who have passed on in various stages. We're talking open caskets. We're talking celebrities. We're talking... I mean, every time a celebrity died, boom, there was a random or a Reaper Files video up there about the celebrity. And this woman continued with doing open caskets, Victorian death portraits, weird tombstones. I mean, anything you can think of that applies to death, she would do a small video on, maybe 10, 15 minutes. She did this for free. She did this with no money invested, just taking pictures off of Meme Generator and putting names onto them. She was very studious, and she made quite a bit of money. Now, you would think, what kind of person would look at everything death-related and want to put that out there? Well, she got quite a following, about 70,000 followers on or subscribers on YouTube. And they would comment, and they would reach out to her. And she kept making these videos almost every day, pretty much daily.